But joining us right now, no stranger to the show. Glad to have him back on from BigAppleSoccer.com and TropiGold.com, Michael Lewis. Michael, welcome, my friend.
Hey, it's great to be back on. How are you doing, Anthony?
I'm very good, Michael. How have you survived that big blizzard there in New York City about a week ago or so?
It's funny that you mentioned it. Very well, thank you. The way I tackle it is I go out and shovel a few times during the storm, so it's short bursts of exercise instead of one big back-breaking exercise. Saying that, we here on Long Island, we got 8 to 10 inches of snow today. We were only supposed to get 3 to 6, and it just kept on coming and coming. So this one should melt pretty quickly because temperatures were around 35, 40 degrees Fahrenheit today. So, but snow is never a fun thing to shovel.
No, absolutely not. It's been a rough couple weeks for our friends in New York State and also in Massachusetts, Vermont, and other states there on the East Coast. So we're hoping everyone is regrouping and getting on with their lives after the big blizzard that hit them a week ago or so. Michael, let's get right to it. Canada taking on the USA in a few hours' time. A lot of people up here in Canada are excited. I don't think many in the US are. And to me, I'm looking forward to this game to see what Canada can bring to the table with a lot of the youngsters, some vets, and a U.S. team, in my mind, for the first time in a long time, that has a lot of question marks, a lot of turmoil surrounding head coach Jurgen Klinsmann, and a guy that a lot of people are touting as the next one in USA circles, Jordan Morris. Let's talk about it, Michael.
Yeah, well, this is not the full team for either side. Particularly, I know the U.S. has got a number of European players who just can't make it over. So it's a great opportunity for mostly MLS and North American-based players to show Jurgen Klinsmann what they can do before qualifiers begin again in March, and, of course, Copa America. So this is a great opportunity for someone like Jordan Morris, who we all know what he can do. He scored against Mexico in that 2-0 win at the Alamo Dome last year. An exciting player, definitely at the college level. Now, let's see what he can do at this next level on a consistent basis. I would like to see Jordan Morris start. I know he got a late, it was late to training because he was over in Germany, but I would just throw him into the fire and see what he can do. This is what it's all about.
What I like about this squad is there's a good mix of vets, but there's a wonderful mix of youth. You mentioned Morris. I'm also thinking of the FC Dallas youngster, Kellen Acosta. I'm thinking of Jerome Kiesweeder. I'm thinking of also a couple guys that I believe are long overdue to have a good look by Jurgen Klinsmann. That's Lee Wynn of the New England Revolution and also Tony Totera. Talk about those guys.
I know Tony Totera fairly well. He used to play with the Red Bulls. I think a lot of people thought he was going to be the next great star immediately, but players coming out of college, a lot of them just have to develop, and they have to find their personality and find the right position in teams sometimes. He could be a very hard-nosed midfielder, central midfielder, and I think he's coming along very, very well. This is like his 6th professional year, but like I said, some players just have to take a little longer. Lee Nguyen, outstanding player for New England. He had a fabulous year 2 years ago when the Revolution went to MLS Cup before losing to LA in the final. He does it well, either scoring goals or setting teammates up. I think he's got to show more consistency to Klinsmann. I think to make the team, to break into let's say the 23-player roster on a regular basis, but he definitely has all the tools. Kellen Acosta, someone who I think can play a few positions in the back, and to me, he just hopefully Klinsmann gives these players a start today. And plays them at least an hour, if not the full 90 minutes. Let's see what they can do.
Two guys that I have a lot of belief in. I trust there for USA is two guys with blazing speed, Darlington Nagbe and Zardes of LA Galaxy. I think these two are the future. These two are the guys I believe are going to cement the spot on this team. And if Klinsmann doesn't give these guys the proper opportunity, the proper time, then shame on him, Michael.
Well, as 2015 dawned, I did my annual column on players to watch in U.S. soccer, and Zardes was one of them. And unfortunately, I don't think he played up to his potential all the time. Perhaps it was the fact that he didn't have someone like a Landon Donovan on the team with the LA Galaxy for him to really blossom. But he's still high on my list, that a player that can do some damage. Again, someone who could set up teammates or score goals himself. I'm not about to give up on him. He's too young to give up on.
Michael, let's talk about two guys that keep getting snubbed. Two guys that you know well, that I've watched over the years. Two warriors. Two guys that could really help out a ton in that midfield. One who you've watched closely, Dax McCarty of the Red Bulls, a heart and solar, and then another one from Sporting Kansas City, Benny Feilhaber. I don't understand for the life of me why Jurgen doesn't want to give these guys a fair shake. To me, we've heard how outspoken Benny Feilhaber is. Dax McCarty, I've said this from many years ago, watching him here in the final, losing to Colorado Rapids in Toronto, why this guy wasn't given a shot. And Jurgen Klinsmann, I believe, is going to live and die with the guys that he believes in. And these two guys can come back to haunt him, I believe, for not bringing some grit and some passion when he needs it. So I think this could be a big mistake on his part.
I'll be honest with you, we're trying to figure that out ourselves. Bill Haber, and what is he, 30 years old? That might be considered too old by Klinsmann for a midfielder, but Benny had a fantastic domestic season last year, and at least call him into camp, see what he can do. McCarty, he is 29, 30 years old. I don't have his age in front of me, but one thing is that they're bringing in so many younger central midfielders, holding midfielders, that it could be a numbers thing with Dax, and that's too bad because he plays with his heart and soul. He's a fan favorite because of that. And New York fans love the lunch pail players, and McCarty is one of them. I have a joke that basically, maybe it's a bad one, but the reason why Benny and Dax aren't being called in is because they don't speak German, or they haven't played in Germany, and that's horrible to, or they haven't played in Germany recently, and that's horrible to say. But you just wonder why these players are not at least given a chance, bring them into camp to see what they could do.
Let's close it out with two TFC guys, two guys that are an integral part of Team USA. One guy who we understand has really slimmed down, really looks good. He shed, I believe, anywhere from 10 to 20 pounds. That's Josie Altidore. Michael Bradley, I've always said this to you and anyone that's ever heard me. I believe he is the real deal. He is a guy that you want your young kids to watch and say, this is how a player should play the game. Never taking any time off, never giving up on any play, and a guy that would go through a brick wall for his teammate and for his nation. Let's talk about these two guys, what a massive year it's going to be for them, for club, for TFC, but also for nation. So much responsibility, so much on tap for both of them.
Well, you took the words just about right out of my mouth about Michael Bradley. As it turns out, Bradley and Altidore are both former New York players, so I got chance to see them in their formative years when they were teenagers. Now, Bradley has always been a serious player. He knows what it's all about. He knows that the player has a finite career. And, the worst thing to do is for anyone to look back and say, gee, I should have done this, 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 and this. And he just, never gives up. He set up a couple of goals last week for the United States. He's always in the middle of things, whether it's offensively or defensively. Josie Altidore, U.S. soccer fans have been waiting for him to break out, to have a consistent year. There's no doubt that he's done well over the years. I believe he has 32 goals internationally, which is a pretty decent total for an American player. But I just don't think we've seen Altidore play consistently, and that's for his club team and the national team. And if he could pull that off this year, I think it would probably be the first time in his career that he would do it at both ends. I know it's not easy, but here's someone who was sold for, $10 million to a La Liga team in 2008, and we're still waiting for him to do some damage big time on the domestic level, particularly in MLS.
Michael, listen, we really appreciate you taking time joining us once again. But before I let you go, I want to congratulate you. I haven't had the chance at MLS final there. You were given an award for covering MLS, I believe, since day one, 20 years, I believe, or more. So congratulations. You're a class act. You're a guy that has always made time for us. So we're really grateful you always do that. And we're happy that you received that award because you deserve it. And many people up here follow you. So continued success, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. It was very nice of the league to do that. It's always nice to get an attendance award. Let's put it that way. But seriously, it was a class act on Don Gauber's part and the MLS's part as well.
Well, you're a class act. Michael, thanks so much again. Enjoy the game tonight and continue success with BigAppleSoccer.com and also Tropico, my friend.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
One of the best in the business, Michael Lewis of BigAppleSoccer.com and Tropico.com.